Hi guys, this is a video for the ISO builders, the guys who are, well, almost ready to graduate from our university, in the sense that they can build ISOs from scratch, right? Or they build upon ArcoLinux, or they build upon Carli, or they build upon ALCI. So there's lots of choices, lots of tutorials that you can mix and get to grips with creating your own way of how a distro should be. I'm gonna install something missing on Cinnamon. So many people ask me, I want to have my configs on my system. How do I get my configs on my system? So we have the Cinnamon ISO that we're building and testing. Well, building is done, so testing. And what I would suggest is look at the videos about VirtualBox, because there you can actually export from inside VirtualBox to your own machine. We need that, so a way to communicate between A and B. I'm gonna make a clean installation, that's my recommendation. You have your ISO, it's bare, it doesn't have any config, no icons, no wallpaper and stuff like that. So then you have, well, you've managed already to know how Calamares and all that works. So install it. That's the first thing you do. And on a clean installation, you're gonna do some changes. And you need to keep track of those changes. And in the end, they should come on the ISO of the person in question, right? Of your user. So there are different things you can do. The most important one for sure is the etc scal. So it's a file that's in your directory of Linux, any Linux by that in that respect. So etc and scal. Anything we put in here, if we roll out our ISO, if we tell Calamares go install it, this is the content of the user in his home directory. So we can tell them this is the bash RCs for you, these are the ZSH RCs for you, these are the config files, and most of the things are in here. And here we also see Cinnamon. So I already have done that exercise and say, okay, I want to have these configs on my future system. Now, what I haven't done is a dmenu. There is no Super Shift D. So I'm missing a keyboard shortcut, and that's it. That's why we do all this work. I just miss a keyboard shortcut. But it could be anything. It could be changing the wallpaper, it could be changing icons and themes. There are so many beautiful themes. I've been using Cinnamon for years on Linux Mint, right? It's a beautiful system. So many things can be changed in here, backgrounds, effects, themes, anything you'd like the user to have, you need to set it here. And then export it to your application, to your package, and then well, put it on your system, because etc scal is one thing, but a lot of other configurations are there present as well. So Cinnamon is not just the .local or the .config, but it's more. So I'll just explain you this particular keyboard thing from dmenu. I'm guessing dmenu is there. So sudo pacman -r dmenu is on the ISO, so we've done that, but there is no keyboard shortcut, so I'll wait for the installation to boot again. Alright, we can restart. So start always with a clean system. Change one thing and save it. Baby steps, right? If you start changing all kinds of things, and you turn back the clock and you say don't want this, don't want that, and you keep on changing things, well, clean install again, start again from scratch, and then just change the thing you want, and just don't go by by the dirty config. You don't want to have dirty configuration, you want to have just the line that influences the setting. Before we go anywhere, I'm gonna do this just to know the .config is here, Control C, Control V. That's one thing you could do. And the same applies for .local, Control C, Control V. I haven't touched the system, right? So if there is something that is changed, well, we'll use tunar because melt is not in here, but we'll compare, right? We'll see what's the line that's changed. Now, this thing that I'm gonna change is probably gonna be in the dconf. Maybe I should have gone there as well. So there is a user database. User, and that's a backup, right? So this is the one that's used, and in here you can edit this with a dconf editor, but it's not easy, right? It's not a file, and that's the pity of it. So we need to go, probably the setting what I'm gonna go change is keyboard, right? It's gonna be in here, so that's all I need, the file, the correct file. So dmenu, okay, keyboards, shortcuts, custom shortcuts. Did I make anything? Is there anything that I've created already that doesn't work? No. So as the add custom shortcuts, I need to know what kind of shortcut. So that's going to be a problem. I don't know yet. The dmenu is in so many distributions. We use that. Let me close the door. Like so. So what I could do is go to github.com/ArcoLinux/ that's okay. And then I'll go to repositories. For instance, bspwm. Whoa, capital letters is on. ArcoLinux bspwm. Config bspwm. sxhqt sx etc. Control find dmenu. This is the code we use. Dmenu, run, the colors and all that. That's the yellow thing that comes at the top. So Control C. Now we can go back and say, well, let's type it again. Keyboard. Otherwise I have to look for it in the menus. Custom keyboard shortcut. Add custom. The name is dmenu. Command, aha, now I know, Control V, add, and then double click, I guess. How was it again? To edit the keyboard binding, click it and press the new keys. Whoa. It's still early in the morning. It says here, keyboard bindings. Oh my God, Eric. So pick an accelerator. Super Shift D would be fine by me, right? Super Shift D is gonna launch this. And that's all I want. Super Shift D pops up, type my stuff, Firefox, boom, enter, gone. So that's that. Now I need to export. It's done, right? Our work is done. Now, if you wanna compare, well, you should have Thunar. I don't know if Thunar is installed. Yay, it's installed. We love our Thunar because of the fact that it's so convenient, right? Compare. But this is ArcoLinux B Cinnamon. It's super minimal. Sudo pacman -s melt. It's not there. And it's the one application I always say that I would buy. Compare. So what changed? Some accelerations because I launched Thunar. This is changed. Variety log, who cares? And something out Thunar, right? If you want to see, that's it. Some properties changed there, and acceleration stuff that was not there, that is now there. Variety log, we don't even care what's in there. But this we can't open. I can show you, but it's gibberish, right? You can't open this. So that's the thing that changed. The only thing I can do is show that in the dconf editor. I was going to think, how is it called again? And in here is somewhere dmenu. It is somewhere in there, otherwise, right? Let's go to the top. In here somewhere, system, well, doesn't matter where it is, right? Somewhere in here, the keyboard shortcut is gonna be key bindings, maybe one up, and the custom list, and in here somewhere has to be the dmenu. Anyway, I need to get it out of there, put it in a package, and that's it. Now, somebody explained something to me. Let's try that out. That we have this, not here, we have this file manager. I can log in to the system, create session. So this is my host, this is my guest. In the home, in Eric, in the .config, I have a dconf. Where is the dconf? Dconf file user, and I need to have that on maybe my desktop. Good place. Then I see immediately it's there. So my desktop, capital D, there it is. Move. Well, you can't drag it. They should make it draggable, and then voila. I go and have a look on my system, and desktop does include the user file. So cool, right? I have it. So for the VirtualBox machine, it's done. So it's out. It needs to go by machine, or we'll do it like this, shut down. So I can still use it for other development. I just did the one change. But if you start experimenting and then decide on something, then maybe you should do a clean install again. So I got my thing. So Control X. Then you make a package, create yourself a package. And I've called it desktop. All the desktops are here. And we need to look for Cinnamon, etc. I keep using the structure of the Linux system. So I don't need to keep it all in mind. I know it's going to go to etc, to skel, Control H, to the config, and there it is. It's not in there. Now let me think. Because this is the dconf, right? All these are the settings for my desktop. We've made it so granular, so in little pieces, that we have actually a dconf for it. Everybody has a different dconf, so we don't get mixed, and that's the thing, right? If you start mixing, this thing is unmixable, right? it's either the Cinnamon's one, or it's either Plasma's one, or either this, no, not Plasma, but well, you see what I mean. It's desktop dependent. Control V. So I've just deleted it. Let's delete the backup as well. So I've just did a Control X from the desktop, and it's now in here in the Cinnamon. So then you make a package. First, of course, you're gonna update the system. So put it online, new dconf, and we take the dmenu key binding. Voila. Let me now pause the video and put everything in there. So that's pushed online. Now we need to build it. So I go to my package builds. Where are my package builds? Here, the dconf from Cinnamon needs to be rebuilt. We're going to open it, say, never mind this numbering, it's now November, the first thing I've ever done. And all these guys, they conflict with each other, you see, conflicts. they're not supposed to mix, and that's why we get differences. Mixing sometimes gives different results, and that's because some of them here used a different deconf. The setting of the wallpaper, the settings of the icons, it's all sometimes in the deconf. GNOME, Budgie, Cinnamon for sure are always in there. Anyway, so building it is. This thing, this build just says build the thing and put it if it's built, and do read about Shroot. You can build packages into a Shroot environment. I don't know if that's explained already. I think so. Anyway, it's going to be moved to a certain place, a repo, a repository, and in the repository we have this. Again, we push to the internet and the world has it. Now there are two ways doing this. If you think you're making a mistake, say I want to test this, make an ArcoLinux test repo. Make a test repo that only you putting stuff on there, and that's it basically. You test it out first and then you say, okay, let's try. So now the new deconf is online already. Super F7, start, Control F, and let's get the new package in. Let's test. What you could do, just as a matter of test, is the keyboard binding. Find it again, delete it. Okay, and if you update, then we get the deconf in and some other stuff. We scale this thing. Of course you need to scale it. It's in the etc scale. It's not on your system, right? Super X log out, or in this case it's only shut down. Well, sure, why not? It doesn't take that long. And now we start up again. And the Super Shift D should be there. That's the point. Super Shift D. Check. So that's would be a workflow. You'll find your own, but in the meantime maybe you can follow mine. And best thing is always, if you meddle with things, clean install again, try it out, see if everything works. Don't change 10 things at a time, because if one of them doesn't work, you say why, what, and you can't figure it out because one of the 10 is not working then. Anyway, just advice. Cheers.